Hey, I'm going to say good morning and be right for the first time. It is morning. So I was reflecting a little bit about trying to remember. I don't know if you do these things, you look back. What was my earliest question that I remember from my youth forming? What kind of question or questions did I have? Almost born with. As soon as I was cognitively, I think I can access memories pretty far back. But I remember the question. My questions were, number one, why are we here? No, that's number two. Number one was, who are we? And then, why are we here? Those big questions, right? And I remember this was we, in the collective, not singularity, not one. And then the question became, who am I? And why am I here? And it didn't take me long to discover the answer to at least who I am. And my purpose, my life purpose. I'm taking my notes. I was born to pursue the truth. How's that? And what I realized when I'm talking today, I'm talking about ego. Ego is the topic today. And I wanted to introduce this because my question was in the collective. We. Who are we? Why are we here? And then it switched. I think this was when the ego kicked in. Now the question became, who am I and why am I here? So the ego popped up, and I can remember thinking in the collective and then thinking somehow I became an entity somehow. Independent, well, independent as much as that youth, an infant can be. An infant is totally dependent on the parents, aren't they? Mom. But that question and its answer, I was born to pursue the truth. So, as long as I can remember, I started reading. My mom was kind of a New Age. Before there was a New Age, she had all kind of esoteric, what they call metaphysical, Madame Blavatsky, Edgar Cayce, and those of you that follow the Western traditions of metaphysics. But there was a book, strangely, a book, autobiography of yoga, Paramahamsa Yogananda, and he became my first guru, even though he died shortly after I was born. Didn't matter to me. So, about 12 years old, I read this book, and Paramahamsa Yogananda, Self-Realization Fellowship. So I had this bend early. I leaned to the East. I was introduced Western, and then the one that stuck with me was, the one that really influenced me was Eastern philosophy, Eastern spirituality. From India. Paramahamsa Yogananda. And later, when I formally started my Zen practice, which is 50 plus years ago, where I spent 33 years really following Rinzai Zen. Those of you that know anything about Zen, first of all, Zazen is sitting, what they call meditation, and there's two basic schools of the Japanese Zen. It's Rinzai and Soto. It really was cute because the biggest difference that you can see right away is Rinzai Zen sit in a circle facing each other. Soto Zen sit in a circle with their backs to each other facing the wall. And that's another story. But and their methodology. Soto Zen believed in instant enlightenment, which could take years. Okay? And Rinzai Zen would give each practitioner a koan. A koan is like, what is the sound of one hand clapping? A puzzle that can't be solved through rationality. You have to transcend rationality to solve your koan. And interestingly enough, the Roshi, the teacher, gave me my koan, and I never solved it, you know. And maybe that was the solution, that I believe that was the solution now. But 33 years of rigorous practice, Rinzai Zen, with my koan, sitting straight, oh, so serious, studying martial arts, studying Cha Dao, the art of tea. So 33 years, and my goal, what I thought was what they were trying to teach me, was to silence the mind, at least quiet it, and then gradually keep working till I became a master who could silence the mind. And the second thing was to destroy the ego, your sense of self, separate self, not the collective, not the spiritual self with a big, writ large S-E-L, all caps. That's the spiritual self, the essence, the God within. So the first one, obviously, the first one was a big failure, that I never was able to even quiet the mind. In fact, when I was sitting or meditating, the mind would be quite loud. And despite my best efforts, I couldn't get close to quieting even, much less, even after 33 years of practice, much less silencing it. I guess I'm a pretty slow learner, 33 years, to figure out that I didn't get it. At least I didn't get it as I understood what it was. So then we'll get back to ego. Most of us think ego is our sense of little self, the individuated self, the self-separate, the uniqueness of me, which turns out to be not very, at least I learned enough in my meditation, my practice, to learn that me wasn't anything spectacular. It was extraordinarily ordinary. So it did help me learn the ordinariness of me, the egoic me. And I'm going back to my phone because I wanted to I had one more note that I wanted to remind myself of. And I look again. So ego. First, silence in my mind. And then the other thing was to kill, destroy, eliminate the ego. So both things were with me after 33 years, and I gave up. And a long line of traditional seekers who did everything they could to grasp enlightenment, to reach enlightenment, to catch without realizing the true nature of enlightenment. And so I'm left with a mind, I'm left with the ego, I'm left with an understanding of how ordinary I truly am, and only to start to this discovery of, okay, my understanding of these concepts probably were fallacious. I misunderstood what silence was, and I won't go into that today, but and I misunderstood what ego was, or why ego, what's the purpose of ego? What's the purpose of mind? And I've mentioned yesterday, mind I put my brain, my mind to work with tasks. And how about ego? So my understanding of ego changed. Ego is not a creator. We think our ego created this being that I call I-Am. The world calls I-Am. And I began to understand that the ego is not a creator, it's a receiver. The ego has a purpose. It's not meant to be defeated, it's not meant to be killed, it's meant to be understood through transformation, through understanding that it's not a creator. The self is the creator. Ego is given us as a receiver of the messages from the self, the universal self, the spirit, God, infinity, whatever concept resonates with you. Names don't matter. Names are just words. So we have an ego, but its purpose is to receive. Receive our messages from ourselves, from our guardian spirits, from infinity. It's the wisdom of the ancients. The wisdom that I talked about yesterday, cultivating from information to knowledge to wisdom. These are the things that the ego, the purpose of the ego is to receive. Receive means listen. Listen to the I am. So remember, I am, that's inclusive, that's it. It's not I am this, I am a man. We talked about this in the earlier video. I'm starting to see that there's a method in my madness, and I kind of guessed that, intuited it, that each of these topics is leading somewhere. So stay tuned. So, mind is not to be avoided, it's to be utilized. Okay? It's not to be silenced. It's meant to be understood that the mind is a tool we're given. And it's not something that we want to. I was given so few tools, and I'm given a fine mind. And I was supposed to silence it? Why not utilize it? In this ego, I think learning that I wasn't special. After years of spiritual pursuit, you can get the misguided belief that you're somehow special. I'm special because I've been meditating for almost 60 years. Yeah, not special. Ordinary. And ordinary is extraordinary. Realizing the ordinariness, realizing your ordinariness is extraordinary. It's seldom done. We like to inflate, and we blame the ego, gets all the blame, right? My ego makes me think that I'm this and that, and different and better and superior and richer and poorer, or any of the dualities that you gravitate to. So ego is another gift. It's another tool. We often talk about, everyone hears about the third eye. But somewhere along the line, the concept of the third ear came to me. I'm not really sure. Is it here? I'm not really sure where the third ear would be. That's where the third eye would be. So where's the third ear? Up here? Back this way is the third ear? Backwards? Where's the third ear? And when I realized the purpose of ego was not a creator but a receiver, then I said, the ego is my third ear. Our ego is our third ear. So what a revolutionary concept for something that I wanted to destroy, to kill, to conquer, became a valued ally. As much as I rely on my third eye for intuition, for vision, to see life as it really is, to learn to accept equanimity, to learn to accept life in all its vagaries, all its ups and all its downs, and as it's constantly coming, the concept of change, to embrace all of this, to embrace my newfound tools, my mind as my assistant, my researcher. My mind is my researcher, and my ego is the third ear, the receiver of the words from beyond and from within. Because to get to the beyond, you have to go within, right? Ironically, there's so many ironies in life. So take a look at your ego and look at it. Maybe you can lean a little bit towards my way of thinking that, it's a tool to be used. Listening, it's another way, our gift of listening.